Hello! In this video, we are going to discuss in detail about job descriptions. An essential part of job analysis is the creation of job descriptions. A job description is a list of the tasks, duties, and responsibilities that we generally call as TDRs that a job entails. To evaluate job performance, it is most important to have detailed information about the work performed in the job, that is, the TDRs. This information makes it possible to determine how well an individual is meeting each job requirement. Well, TDRs are observable actions. For example, a news photographer's job requires the job holder to use a camera to take photographs. Well, if you were to observe someone in that action for a day, you would almost certainly see some pictures being taken. Well, a job description has a typical format. Preparing a job description begins with gathering information from sources who can identify the details of performing a task. For example, persons already performing the job, the supervisor or team leader, or if the job is new, managers who are creating the new positions. Other sources of information may include companies' human resource files, such as past, which include job advertisements and job descriptions, and as well as general sources of information about similar jobs taken from agencies like monster.com. Well, based on the information gathered from these sources, the next step is to identify which activities are essential duties of the job. Now, these include mental and physical tasks, as well as any particular methods and equipments to be used in carrying out those tasks. Now, from these sources, the writer of the job description obtains the important elements of the job description. Now, while writing a job description, first and foremost, we write the title of the job. The title should be descriptive and, if appropriate, indicate the job's level in the organization. Then, it should give administrative information about the job. That is, the job description may identify a division, department, supervisor's title, date of the analysis, name of the analyst, and other information for administering the company's HR activities. Then, the job description should include statement of the job's purpose. Now, this should be brief and describe the position in broad terms. Then comes essential duties of the job. Now, these should be listed in order of importance to successful performance and should include details such as physical requirements. For example, it could be the amount of weight to be lifted, the persons with whom an employee in this job interacts, and the results to be accomplished. Well, this section should include every duty that the job analysis identified as essential. Next, it should include additional responsibilities. Now, the job description may state that the position requires additional responsibilities as requested by the supervisor. Well, here is a sample of job description taken from Union Pacific website. As we can see, first it gives an overview of the job. It writes, when you work on a Union Pacific train crew, you're working at the very heart of our railroad, moving trains, driving trains, making sure our customers' freight gets delivered safely and on time. Then it gives a job description. It says, in this entry-level position, you'll start as a switch person or a brake person. working as on-the-ground traffic control. You don't need any previous railroad experience. We provide all training. These jobs directly lead to becoming a conductor and a locomotive engineer, where you will have a rare opportunity to work on board a moving locomotive. The conductor is responsible for the train, the freight, and the crew. The locomotive engineer actually operates the locomotive. So, as we can see, the job description gives an entire description of what would be required and the opportunities that a person applying for the job may have. Then comes duties. It says, as a switch person or brake person, you learn to move trains safely in the yards and over the road. You will be climbing ladders, boarding freight cars, operating track switches, inspecting cars, and using radio communications to control train movement. Then the job description lists the major tasks and responsibilities. It writes, you won't work a standard 40-hour work week. Train crews are always on call, even on weekends and holidays. You'll travel with our trains, sometimes spending a day or more away from your home terminal. Now, this was just a sample of job description. Although organizations may modify this format according to their particular needs, all job descriptions within an organization should follow the same format, as this helps the organization make consistent decisions about matters such as pay and promotions. It also helps the organization show that it makes HR decisions very fairly. Now, job descriptions should be reviewed periodically, say maybe once a year, and updated too if necessary. And performance appraisal can provide a good opportunity for updating job descriptions. And at the end, organizations should give each newly hired employee a copy of his or her job description. This helps the employee to understand what is expected, but it shouldn't be presented as limiting the employee's commitment to quality and customer satisfaction. Ideally, employees will want to go above and beyond the listed duties when the situation and their abilities call for that. Many job descriptions include the phrase "and other duties as requested," as a way to remind employees not to tell their supervisor, but that's not a part of my job. Well, so in this video, we discussed in detail as how to write job descriptions.